I'm not sure what this movie is or who it's targeted towards. When You're Cordially Invited first started playing, I thought it was going to be like another take on Father of the Bride.
Mm.
Because the introductory sequence made it feel like that. Here is Will Ferrell, who is obsessed with his daughter. They're incredibly close. And I thought it might be an interesting take because he's a single father. And I wasn't sure where it was going to go. And then, by way of the lamest of setups, a double booking of a wedding on a small island, it goes exactly where you think it's going to go because you've seen this movie 100 times before. And Reese Witherspoon doesn't need this. She's got lots of money. She produces good shit on HBO. Why is she in this? Why? I don't understand.
She's also the producer.
Yeah, but then everyone's a producer these days, right? But I don't know. Because she was in that movie, that Netflix movie from a couple of years ago, Your Place or Mine, which wasn't great either. It was her return to the rom-com. And remember, it was her and Ashton Kutcher, and they had a long-distance relationship, and the premise was interesting, but it just felt a little tired. You're Cordially Invited is worse than tired. It is unfunny and tired.
This is one of those movies that got me really fucking angry. Like, I was so angry at the end of this because it was so lame. So here's the thing. I always think I would like a Will Ferrell movie, but then I will watch said Will Ferrell movie and I realize I don't like Will Ferrell movies. You know what I mean? It's like, because I always see clips, right? I think Will Ferrell movies do well as a meme, as a 5-second gif of Ron Burgundy. Hilarious. And then you watch Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, and you go, man, you should have just kept it at 1. You watch a gif of Ricky Bobby and you think, man, this movie was hilarious. And then he goes and does something like Eurovision. I know you enjoyed it, but even then, like, Eurovision at least does the jock humor. You like it or not, Eurovision is like Blades of Glory. It's a little like semi-pro, like Step Brothers. It's a little crass, it's jock humor. You're Cordially Invited is Will Ferrell trying to do a sweet comedy and failing completely.
That's it, right? Were they trying to do a sweet comedy? Because there were all of these moments that they were going for heartfelt, but I just didn't buy it. There's a moment early in the film when Will Ferrell's sitting on the deck of the little inn and he's toasting his dead wife.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, our daughter's getting married tomorrow. I hope you'll be proud, kind of thing. And Reese Witherspoon is standing in the background and she doesn't say anything and she notices and they have this like nod at each other. And it's supposed to be this quiet, heartfelt moment in a raucous comedy. And I didn't feel anything. Like, usually in movies, during moments like that, you're supposed to be... I don't know if it was because it came too early in the movie. I don't know if it was a timing thing. I don't know if it was a performance thing. But I just didn't feel it. I don't know if it was because in the 15 minutes leading up to it, this movie felt so aimless and tired. Like, all of the young people in this movie are depicted as screaming assholes.
Tonally, it was weird because it isn't a raucous comedy, despite your use of that word, right? Because at no point do you LOL. So for a moment like that to come here, as a tone, nothing has shifted. It's still very middling. And then this moment happens, which is supposed to be like a change of pace, a breath, but it doesn't, right? The movie opens with, I don't know, I guess it's supposed to be funny, sweet, but like Will Ferrell is over preparing for the arrival of his daughter who he hadn't seen for a long time. And then they do what is supposed to be a cute greeting together. I don't know if it's supposed to be cute or if it's supposed to be cringy, because it sure as hell is cringy as all heck. And I think from that point on, it just feels like the director who is also the writer, didn't know what to do with it. Because, like you said, Will Ferrell's daughter, at several points throughout this film, Will Ferrell refers to his daughter's impending marriage as them both being too young. They're both being too unready for this. There's a joke about how Will Ferrell's daughter's best friend, who is supposed to be her wedding planner, having social anxieties. And all of her friends are just this loud, brash, social media obsessed group of people. And it's just like, why are you painting your characters this way? I'm supposed to like these people. Why are you making them out to be jerks and dicks and one-note noise bits?
And I think that really boils down to bad writing, in that the movie doesn't know how it wants you to feel about its characters. Like, even if you take something like Wedding Crashers, which is about two assholes, but they are immediately lovable assholes.
Yes.
So whether or not they do bad things in the movie, you still end up loving Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
And that's the idea, because they are your protagonists, they are your heroes. Here, I found every character to be annoying. They were written badly. And not only that, the plotting and the narrative is bad as well. There is a romantic subplot that feels entirely unnecessary in this sort of movie. In fact, the movie would be more interesting if it weren't for that stupid subplot.
I feel like that stupid subplot comes so far out of left field that it comes out of right field. It literally comes at the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's one line. Suddenly everybody's like, huh? Really? Oh yeah. Flashback through the movie. Flashback. And be like, no, we didn't see any of that when that movie was happening. So why are you showing it to me now?
Like, even the jokes felt really old. Like, it felt like old people writing how they think young people behave.
Yes.
And that is the worst kind of writing, because anyone below the age of 30 watching this is not going to be able to relate to anything that's happening on screen, because it's how old people see them as opposed to how they see themselves. Like, the best of these sorts of movies are when it manages to capture how a generation sees themselves and how every generation sees themselves. I think that's what made Father of the Bride such a great film, because if you were a young person watching that, you could immediately relate to the young people in the show. And if you were a parent watching it, you could immediately relate to Steve Martin. And I think that's how they get you. That's great writing. In your Cordially Invited, it just feels like a series of ideas and sketches that someone felt might be a good idea to string together into 112 minutes or something.
Yeah.
It's comedy bits that have been zapped in the microwave over and over again. It's just like reheating leftovers until they lose all flavor and nutrition. It took me 3 tries to get through this.
Ugh.
Because I was bored and I just paused and I went and did something else, and then I'd come back and be like, I guess we're reviewing this, so I should watch it. And I watched it again, and then I stopped again, and it was so hard to get through.
At one point, I paused the movie to make some inane, angry observation or comment about it. I was watching it with my wife, and when I pressed play, she turns to me and goes, wait, we're still going to watch this? We're going to watch the rest of this?
We're going to finish this movie?
I have to! You know? At one point, when I made my first feature, the late Yasmin Ahmad, who went to go see the movie, so texted me and she said, yes, the movie's not perfect, but what it shows is that you guys have heart. The movie has heart. I never understand when someone tells me a movie's got heart. It's something I cannot describe. Right? Heart in a piece of fiction, in a written piece of fiction, is hard to describe. This movie has no heart. I can tell you that. I don't know how to describe it, but this movie has got no heart. Everybody here is doing it for the money, because there is no way Reese Witherspoon, Will Ferrell, Bobby Moynihan makes an appearance, Wyatt Russell's in this, Peyton Manning shows up, Nick Jonas is in this, Jack McBrayer's in this. There is no way any of those people, other than potentially Peyton Manning, read the script and thought, yeah, this is funny. I want to do this.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
No, because they're all incredibly talented comedians in their own right.
Wyatt Russell's in this. Why? Who knows? Bobby Moynihan's in this. Why? Who knows? They're not even in this. They're a throwaway clip gag.
I don't even know. Like, those ads kept popping up and I was like, what is happening here?
Why is this a thing that you feel like the audience needs to see?
And the weird thing is, I think people like Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon are household names. And they've been in Hollywood and they've been in the industry for so long. I think you can consider them Hollywood comfort food, right? When you see their names on something, you have an expectation of what you're going to get. And when it comes to comedy, at least the minimum I was expecting was some good banter between Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
I thought they may have that charismatic banter going on in a rom-com. There's a bit of com here. They try. I think there's a bit of unintentional com. There is very little rom in this com. Like,
yeah.
There is no rom. The forced rom in the last 10 minutes, someone expositioning it to someone else and going, oh, did you know? Didn't you know?
Yeah.
Didn't you realize? What?
Dumbest fucking...
It's
Nobody
the dumbest thing
realized
ever, right? And so that felt like it was so forced and so shoehorned in because 90% through the movie, someone went, hey, it's a rom-com and there ain't no romance at all. Like, nothing works. And so I felt denied my comfort food. Like, that was the only reason I would watch this, because there are some familiar names and I know what to expect, and I'm hoping for a certain level of entertainment. And I didn't get it. And for that, I am greatly disappointed. I'm not as angry as you. I'm just greatly disappointed.
You know what? Everybody involved in this overthought the rom-com thing. They wanted to make something different. I think...
But what was different? Like, everything ended up being the same. Like, the reason why they all end up on the island, oh, someone doesn't write in a book and then has a heart attack and dies. And I'm just like, really? That's it?
They didn't want to make a rom-com between Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon because they felt like that would be too run-of-the-mill, too straightforward. So they try and zhuzh it up by having this accidental double booking and the focus is on the weddings and blah, blah, blah. But like you said, they forgot the romance.
They don't even push that element far enough. It's like Bride was an extreme version of this and it was funnier.
Yeah. Yes.
Or, even if you take another prime comedy, Ricky's the Nicky, they knew what they were doing. They went, listen, let's go completely over the fucking top with this.
Yes.
And it's what the Farrellys do, right? And so that worked because they pushed the envelope and they leaned into the whole over-the-top idea because their concept in itself was utterly ridiculous. Here, they kept playing it safe. And I don't know why, but it just ended up being safe and boring and tired and old and just uninspired. Just
it's just really lame.
You're Cordially Invited is now streaming on Prime Video. Skip it. It's terrible. It's not even worth having it run in the background. If you have seen it, let us know what you think. Did you enjoy this? Is there any possible universe in which you enjoyed this? We're on Instagram, on Goggler MY. You can also email us on podcast@goggler.my or send us a WhatsApp on the Goggler hotline, 012-524-5208. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Goggler Podcast.